Zai, a very good morning, everyone. Welcome back. And now, in this tutorial, we will be discussing about these kind of sums, okay, where they'll be given a certain series, and then we just have to find the sum, or it does just say sum up, okay. The first thing that we'll do is we'll just check whether the numbers that have been given in the series is it an AP or not. Okay, so if it's AP, then we directly apply the formula of AP and then we get the answer. So let's check if it's an AP or not. Now, to verify whether the numbers that have been given in the series is AP or not, the formula is what? We just have to check the second minus the first. If the answer of the second minus first, if it's equals to the answer of the third minus the second, then 100% we can say that the numbers in the series are in AP. So let's check. So it's over here 4 minus 1 is equals to 8 minus let's say 4. So what do I get? 3 is equals to 4. So they're not equal, so that means they are not in GP. So if you look over here also direct, so we have a 3, the difference is 3, the difference over here is how much? 4, the difference between them is 5. So 100% the difference, the values are not the same. So we need a constant value for the numbers to be in AP. So 100% they are not in AP. So that means we cannot apply the formula of AP series. So then if we can't apply AP, let's try and check if it's a GP series or not. If it's GP series, we'll apply the formula of GP. So for GP, what do we have to do? The common ratios have to be constant. Okay, and how do I find the common ratio? Take any two consecutive terms and then just divide them. So I have two consecutive numbers, 4 and 1. So if I do 4 by 1, answer is 4. If I take the next two consecutive terms, I have 8 by 4, that is equal to 2. And then if I have 13 by 8, we get a decimal, okay, some decimal, 1 point something. So that means the ratios are also not same. So 100% is not in AP also. Sorry, not in a GP also. So that means these numbers that have been given in the series is neither an AP nor a GP, so we cannot apply this formula. But now if I look carefully, if you look carefully, the series was 1, 4, 8, 13 plus dot 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 2 n terms. If you look carefully, if you watch, okay, the the ratios were completely different. We are all getting weird values. But if I look at the difference over here, the difference between these two is a 3, the difference between these two is a 4, difference between these two is a 5. If you watch the difference carefully, now these differences, the difference between the numbers, if you watch carefully, they are in AP, because 4 minus 3 is a 1, 5 minus 4 is also 1. So not the numbers, but the difference between the numbers in the series. When I get the difference is in AP. So this is what we will use to go ahead and solve this question. Okay, so now, so how do I start? We say let Sn be equals to what is the first term? 1 is the first term, then second term is 4, third term is 8, fourth term is 13 plus that. So how many n terms means? So the last one, we call it as the nth term. So we write it as an. So whenever you have such a question where the difference comes out to be an AP, sometimes later on we'll be talking about questions where the numbers maybe will come in a GP. So that we'll talk later on. But right now we are AP. So what we do in these kind of questions is then we just write the same thing Sn, but we shift the numbers one place towards the right. So over here we have 1, so we write over here as 1, and then that's the rule. Okay, every time whatever is Sn. Now next time you'll write the same Sn, but now you'll shift the numbers one place towards the right. So now if the 1 has come underneath 4, so what will come underneath 8? 4 will come underneath 13, will come 8, like that. Okay, so we have n terms. So what does the meaning of nth term? So let's say, for example, so if I'm shifting one place towards the right, so if I have over here, let's say, so underneath the second we are getting the first term, underneath the third we are getting the second term, underneath the fourth we are getting the third term. So underneath the nth term, what do you think we'll get? We will get a n minus 1 term. We'll get 1 less, because underneath the second we are getting first, we are getting 1 less term when we are shifting one place towards the right. Third we are getting second, fourth we are getting third. So similarly nth term, so when it shifts one place to the right, underneath an we'll get an minus 1, and the last one is an. Okay, so that is what we write. Okay, and then I hope you understood the shifting of, okay, because we are shifting. And why are we shifting? Because this is the way to go ahead and solve these kind of sums when the difference is in an AP, when the actual series is not in an AP, not in GP, but the difference between the numbers are in AP. That's the way to solve it, where we shift the values of that series one place towards the right. And if you look carefully, underneath the second term, we're getting the first term. Underneath the third, we're getting the second. Underneath fourth, we're getting third. So obviously underneath the nth term, we'll get an minus 1 term, and the last becomes an, because we are shifting one place towards the right. Okay, so then next step is we'll always have to subtract. Now when you subtract, the sign of the lower one changes. Everyone knows that the sign of the lower one changes. Okay, so what will happen, these two are exactly the same, they get cancelled out, so we get a 0. So underneath this we do not have anything, so 1 remains 1. But now if I do 4 minus 1, that is a 3. 8 minus 4 is a 4. 13 minus 8 is a 5, plus dot dot dot, and then this becomes an minus 1, and then this becomes an. So this is an minus 1, and this plus has changed into minus this way. So now this minus an is what will bring this side. That's always the tray. So this an will come this side, become a positive an, and then we have 1 plus, okay, and then we have 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus this. So what is the meaning of an minus an minus 1? Now if you look carefully, okay, now from here to here, okay, so this an has already come this side. Okay, so this portion, now if you watch carefully, so from here to here we had n terms. Okay, but here it's only from here, so this portion is only from here to here. Is that okay? Because this an has already come this side. Okay, so if we leave the 1, so we are not including the 1, if I exclude the 1, and if I only watch from 3 till here, okay, so what has happened is that from here to here, if you have n terms, so if I do not include 1 term, so then how many terms will be there? If the total is n terms, so from the n terms, if I exclude 1, so if, like for example, let's say if I have 10 terms, so from 10 terms, if I say I don't want to take 1 term, so how many terms will be left? 9 terms will be left. If I have 15 terms, from the 15 terms, if I say I don't want to include 1 term, then how many terms will be there? 14 terms. So similarly, if I have n terms, and then if I say I don't want to include 1 term, so how many terms will be there then? N minus 1 terms. Okay, so over here, that means in this one we have plus dot dot dot, and then we'll have n minus 1 terms. How? Because see, this an, so till here, from here to here is n terms. So what we are doing is, so the entire thing is n term, but over here we are excluding 1, means so from here to here becomes only n minus 1 term, because it is 1 less. Because what has happened, this one an, we are bringing it this side, so this an is already out, so we are only left with this, and then 1 we are already excluding, so we have n minus 1 terms. Okay, now if you watch carefully, if I exclude the 1 plus, and if I just look at this 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus dot 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 dot, n minus 1 terms. Okay, now if you look at this series, this is in an AP. So the 1 was not in an AP because the difference was 2, difference was 1. So this was not in an AP, so I excluded that, I took it out of the group, and we are only left with this much. So this entire thing is now in an AP. So if it's now in an AP, so then what will happen is, so this is the sum of AP series. So what will be the sum of AP series? Now everyone knows, I think, the sum of an AP series. Sum of an AP series is what? The formula of sum of an AP series is n by 2 bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. That's the formula of the sum of an AP series. So over here, if you look carefully, what's your first term? First term is 3. So a is equal to 3. What's your d? D is equals to 4 minus 3, that is equal to 1, because this one is there. And what's the n over here? N is n minus 1, because n over here is n minus 1. So this is what we have for this particular series. So we just do a substitution. So instead of a, I'll put 3, instead of d, I'll put 1, instead of n, I'll put n minus 1, and that's the formula. So the formula says n by 2. So over here n is n minus 1, so n by 2, and then you have a bracket, it says 2, a is 3, plus it says n is this, minus 1, and then a d, that d is also 1. Okay, so the formula was this. So the formula was, if you look carefully, the actual formula of an AP series sum is n by 2 bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. But if you watch carefully over here, n, if you look in this series, the n is n minus, last term is n minus 1. So instead of n, what do we have to put? We have to put n minus. So in this formula, instead of n, it goes n minus 1 divided by 2. And the 2 formula, the 2 as it is, what is a? A is 3, the first term is 3. So 2 into 3, that is what we write. Plus, over here we have n, but n has been replaced by n minus 1, so we have to write n minus 1, and the formula is minus 1. The formula is minus 1 as it is, and then the d, we got it as a 1, so we are putting it as 1. So that's what we get. And then now what will happen is, this will be 1 plus, I get an n minus 1 by 2. What will I get over here? We will get it as a 6 plus n minus 2, and then a 1, and then this bracket, so we get 1 plus n minus 1, 2, and then inside what do we get? 6 plus n, this will multiply, I'll get an n minus 2. Okay, and then when we solve this further, what do we get is, we get it as 1 plus n minus 1, 2, and then when I solve this, what do we get? We get n plus 4. That is what we get. So indirectly it is like 1 plus n minus 1 n plus 4 whole thing divided by 2. Okay, so if you want, I can write it as 1 plus, I can write it as n squared. This will multiply this will multiply this, n squared plus 4n minus 4 divided by a 2. So we get it as 1 plus n squared plus 3n minus 4 by 2. So now this is like 1, we find the LCM, so I'll get a 2, so the LCM is 2 plus, I get 1 n squared plus 3n minus 4. So then what do I get? We get n squared plus 3n minus 2 divided by 2. And what we can do is we can take the half outside, and then we can get n squared plus 3n minus 2. That's the answer for your an. So that is not a sum. This is quite a lengthy one, and there are a few steps I think where I have done extra steps. What you can do, if you think certain steps that you thought like, okay, maybe it's easier, I could have easily skipped, you can easily skip the steps. But over here we are not skipping any steps, so that it becomes easier for the students to understand that, okay, this is how we got this. Okay, but if you think that there are certain steps that you want to skip, you can easily skip. So we got an. Okay, so right now, but the question does not say find an. The question says sum up, means find the sum of this. So now once we get an, and the previous tutorial I've already discussed, if I have my an, how do I find the sum? The sum is equals to take the half outside. It is equal to summation of n squared plus 3 summation of an n minus 2 summation of 1. Because I said 2, if I have 2, I'll write it as 2 into 1, and then I write this. Okay, so that is how we go ahead and do. So if you think you get confused, you can always watch the previous tutorial. But if someone thinks, okay, no, you have problems, so what we do is, the formula of this is, it's actually sum formula is summation of an, and an is already this, so I'll write it as what? It is summation of half n squared plus 3n minus 2. So I take the half outside, summation, we get n squared plus 3n minus 2. So then again, I can individually I can do the summation of n squared plus summation of 3n minus the summation of 2, and then what will happen? Half, and then summation of n squared as it is, the constants comes out, this one, and this we always, if I have only numbers, I can write it as a 2 into 1, and then this is like a half. This is already done, but if there is anyone who feels that, okay, you forgot, then this is how we do. We take out the 2 common, and then this. So this is what we have got over here. So all these steps were discussed in the previous things, but if you want, this is how we go ahead and get the answer of the sum, or no, the formula of the sum when an is given. And then this is equals to half, and then summation n squared, we already have a formula of the summation n squared, like I told you, summation n squared, that's the formula, summation n, that's the formula, summation 1, that's the formula. So you need to know your formula. So summation n squared means I'll have n into n plus 1 2n plus 1 whole thing divided by 6 plus 3. Summation n means I'll have n into n plus 1 divided by a 2, and minus 2. Summation 1 means an n. Okay, so then what will happen is, if you want, you can do half. Since there is no n plus 1 common, so right now I'll not take common. Okay, if you want, I can take the n common. So n is common over here, common over here, so I can take the n common, and I'll be left with what? I'll be left with n plus 1 2n plus 1 divided by a 6 plus n is out, 3n plus 1 divided by 2 minus n is out, I get a 2. Now what I do is I open the bracket, the small brackets over here. So when I multiply, I get 2n squared plus n plus 2n plus 1 divided by a 6 plus I get a 3n plus 3 divided by 2 minus 2. And then I see something common. What is not common, sorry. Yeah, something is common over here. N, 2n, so I get a 3n plus 1 by 6 plus I get 3n plus 3 by 2 minus 2. Now we find the LCM. The LCM is equals to 6. So then 6 ones are, so I get the same thing. So then over here 2 3s are, so 3 will multiply both of them. 3 3s are is 9n, 3 3s are is a 9, minus 1 6 are, 6 2s are is 12. So we get this much. So once I get over here, then the next step would be is equals to n by 2. Then I get what? So we check for like terms. N square, oh no, there is no n other square. So there is an n over here, there is an n over here. These two will give me a 12n. So there is a plus 1 plus 9 will give me a 10, but minus 12 gives me a minus 2 by 6. Is that okay? And then what we can do is I can take 2 common over here, and then I have n. So if I take 2 common over here, I'll be left with n square plus 6n minus 1, the whole thing divided by a 6. And then 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So ultimately I have n by 6, and then I get n square plus 6n minus 1. That's the answer. That's how we go ahead and solve this type of a question, where the original question that we had a series which was neither in AP nor in GP, but later on when I checked, the difference between those numbers came out to be in AP. So whenever you have some this kind of a question, then we always have to go ahead and take the SN, and then we have to shift it one place towards the right, and then find the difference, and then get your AN first. Once you get your AN, then the sum formula we already know is the summation of AN. So that's how we go ahead and solve this kind of a question. Okay, so that's it for the time being. We'll be talking about more such questions in the next tutorial. That's it. Thank you.